Season 3, Episode 6. Power You Resist. Dissent, courage, and the limits of obedience. If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. Epictetus. Welcome to Season 3, Episode 6. In the last episode, we examined power you don't see. Influence that persuades rather than commands, and belief that feels chosen rather than imposed. Today we move to the most dangerous form of power, the moment when someone resists. Because dissent is where philosophy stops being abstract and starts costing something. Most people imagine dissent as dramatic, protests, speeches, public defiance. In reality, power survives because dissent is rare, not because people agree, but because compliance is comfortable. It is easier to stay silent, easier to adapt, easier to justify small compromises. Stoicism understands this weakness intimately. Marcus Aurelius warned that the greatest danger is not tyranny, but surrender of judgment. So why does dissent feel like betrayal? Dissent is rarely treated as disagreement. It is framed as disloyalty, ingratitude, disruption, and moral arrogance. This is not accidental. When systems cannot defeat dissent rationally, they isolate it socially. The cost of resistance is not punishment first. It's exclusion first. The Stoic line between obedience and complicity is here. Stoicism does not glorify rebellion. It does not encourage defiance for defiance sake, but it draws a hard line. There is a difference between accepting what you cannot control and cooperating with what violates reason. Epictetus was clear. You may lose status, you may lose security, you may lose approval, but you must not lose your faculty of judgment. History is full of ordinary people who enabled harm without cruelty. They followed the rules, they fulfilled the roles, they deferred responsibility upward. Stoicism rejects this defiance completely and rejects this as a defense. You are not absolved by hierarchy. You are not absolved by obedience. You are not absolved by normalization. Virtue does not transfer. Responsibility, sorry to say, it's always personal. Real dissent rarely announces itself. It looks like refusing to repeat a lie, declining to endorse what violates conscience, withdrawing participation without spectacle, maintaining integrity when rewarded silence is offered. This is harder than public rebellion because it offers no applause, no community, no certainty of impact. But there is alignment with reason. Stoicism makes dissent harder, not easier. It offers no promise that resistance will succeed, no assurance that history will vindicate you, There's no guarantee of safety. It only offers this: to live without self-betrayal. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, it can ruin your life only if it ruins your character. Why modern dissent is more difficult? In earlier eras, power was visible. But today, as we mentioned in the last episode, it's changed. Today, dissent often means resisting narratives, incentives, reputational pressure, economic dependence. The punishment is subtle: deplatforming, professional exclusion, character erosion. This is why modern dissent feels lonely and why it matters. So maybe there's a test of courage. Courage in Stoicism is not fearlessness. It is endurance under moral tension, the ability to remain rational when you're misunderstood, when you're pressured to conform, and when silence would be easier. It's not heroism. We call it discipline. Stoicism permits obedience until obedience requires the surrender of reason. That is the hard line. No ideology, no loyalty, no identity. Reason. When reason is violated, compliance becomes corruption. So most people will never face dramatic moral crises. But everyone faces quieter ones. Moments when silence is rewarded. When compromise is framed as realism. When dissent is framed as arrogance. Stoicism does not ask you to win. It asks you not to surrender yourself. So here are my final words on this topic. Power you cannot escape tends to endure, and it also tests endurance. Power you don't see tests awareness. And of course, power you resist will test your courage. Maybe you'll agree that this is where Stoicism stops being about philosophy and starts becoming your character.